Thanks, Pradeep, and I think for that reception I gave Pradeep in Symphony, he's given me the first session after lunch, which is the kind of toughest session to address, and I think it's also tough because on two counts. One is the subject of content sometimes turns people cold because everybody likes the easier things in life to do, or supposedly easier things in life to do, like talking to the customer and reaching out through advertising and some nice, sexy campaigns. But when it comes to actually sitting down and writing your own blog or writing your own piece, that's when it kind of, people start having the shivers. Which in a sense is good for us because that's how our business is built. And that's exactly kind of what we do and what we kind of aim to do as we go along. And we've been now in business for about 3 years. So let me give you a little story, a story which happened over a cup of tea, about a cup of tea. And this was a story of the time I went into a supermarket to buy, some tea. And I came home and I brewed my first cup. And just as I kind of, put the tea bag into the cup, the string and the tea bag kind of separated themselves. Okay, and the bag opened up and it got a little messy, the leaves fell into the cup and all kinds of things. So I said, okay, fine, maybe it's a technical flaw, let me try something tomorrow morning. So the next day in the morning, I did the same thing, and again the same thing happened. The string came off, and this went on for about 4 mornings, till I finally decided to get in touch with the company. And what happened? The first thing I did was reach out to the company. My email bounced. Okay, it just didn't go through. So I checked. I said, am I going old? Have I got the email correct? I looked at the back of the pack. I actually sent the email all over again and the email bounced again. So then I realized, I said, this is not going to work. Maybe I need to try something else. So I said, being, from the slightly old school of thought, I said, maybe let me send them a letter. So I actually wrote out a letter and I tried to make the letter as kind of harmless as possible, accusing them, of course, of the fact that there was a manufacturing defect, but also telling them that, look, there are some suggestions, you can do things a little better, maybe you should try this or that. 2 days later, the courier brought back the letter and said, address not found. Now that really got me, and I won't tell you what I did next. But the fact of the matter is that most often than not, one of the biggest problems which actually starts this whole issue with many of us in our companies is that we are simply not listening. We love to talk, we love to make our point, but sometimes we just don't have the ability to listen and just sit back and silently look at what is going around in the ecosystem around us and what are people saying about us? What are people commenting about us? Are we responding to those comments? So I think the fundamental thing that we have to remember really in life is that there is change all around us. But today what has kind of enveloped us and what we need to extract ourselves from is the fact that many of us sometimes have a mental block, and that includes me, have a mental block towards developing something new or changing with the times. Okay? So a guy like me, for example, grew up in an age where we were pushing content out. We never expected content to come back at us. Okay? Today it's like a game of squash. If you're not quick on the ball, you meet a friend of mine who actually broke his nose. Okay? Because he just was not quick enough to react, okay, to what was happening. And that very often, so are we really expecting stuff to come back? Is it a two-way lane? We're used to driving on one-way streets in Bangalore, but is it a two-way lane when it comes to actually looking at content? And if I really kind of look at this whole change that we need to adapt, there's one person that comes to mind, and this person is somebody who was shot way before I was even born. But I still have a lot of regard for this person in whatever I have read or whatever I have heard about this person and whatever we've seen in films. And that is this gentleman called Mahatma Gandhi. And you might find it strange that I bring up a name like Mahatma Gandhi in today's contemporary setting. But if you really think back, his starting point to that entire freedom movement, okay, was that there was a provocation. Okay, and what was that provocation? He was physically lifted and thrown out of the first class compartment of a train in South Africa. That was the provocation. So the question that I have for you today, at the outset is, what is the provocation in your company which really leads you to develop a message that goes out. Okay, what is that provocation? Is it because you have that fantastic product? That may be the provocation. Is it because you made a sale in the most difficult situation? That may be the provocation. Is it because you're doing something which is absolutely pioneering and nobody is doing anything like what you're doing? That may be the provocation. So you've got to find that provocation before you can even start developing your content or developing anything that you want to communicate outside. The second thing about Mahatma Gandhi is that he had a single message. And he had that message which was encapsulated in a movement that spanned just 2 words, quit India. Okay? He had that message because he basically wanted India for Indians, and that was his whole goal. So in whatever he did, whatever campaigns he ran, okay, and he was a great advertising man if you ask me. He was a great marketing person. Okay? Whatever he did, he brought that single message out to the people. And that's a lesson for us as well, because today in a cluttered environment, are we kind of focusing more on the means, or are we really focusing on the message that we want to take and achieve the purpose that we want to get? Okay, and that's the question we have to ask ourselves. And the third thing is he used some very simple tactics to reach out to the people. He had no mobile phone, he had no YouTube and Facebook, he had no LinkedIn, he had no community of followers except physical followers. So what did he do to get the people's attention? He actually got onto the streets and started walking. A great example of this is the Dandi March that he did, where he actually just went down and hundreds and thousands of people followed him, and the reason they followed him is that they followed him purely because they saw the message and they saw the cause which was so passionate to him because of that great provocation that he had. So the question today is that can we find that provocation in the company that we work for or in the message that we want to deliver? Because if we can do that, then I think the rest of my presentation is just academic. There's nothing more for me to say. Okay, so devices are pushing us from one side. There's a consumeristic movement and a per capita income that is rising on another side. There is a population in this country that is aspirational and young, and there is generally an investment and a mood, okay, that is upbeat, despite whatever you read in this morning's paper or whatever you saw around you. At the macro level, there are a lot of things to look forward to. And this, in my opinion, is a great time to actually take your story to the market, because there are people who are willing to actually listen to you, because if you are able to strike that chord, they're willing to listen to you and they're willing to get things going. So I think that really is the best, that really is what it is. The reality of the fact is there has to be an element of influence, and that is what you're seeking to do. So today the approach is not, I have this great thing with me and I think it will be great if you take it. That's not the approach. The approach is basically that, I can make you better, or I can make you the hero if basically, you use what I have as a product or as a service or as an offering or whatever it is, in a sales situation or in a marketing situation. I remember about 7 years ago in iFlex, we once came up with this audacious proposition, and we said, if you really look at our customer at the end of the day, and we had banking and financial services customers, and we said if you really look at that customer at the end of the day, the customer is not concerned about whether he's using FlexCube as a product or Prime Sourcing as a service or Equinox as something else or whatever. He doesn't really care about the brand. He really cares about tomorrow morning when I get up, will the ATM work? Will my CRM system respond? Would my end of day processing the previous night have closed? He has real issues on his hand. And those are the issues that he wants addressed. So the question to the team internally at iFlex was, should we have, like a big gallery, all these logos of the acquisitions that we've done over a period of time, should it be all hanging around there? And when we really thought about it, we said, actually, it doesn't make sense. We can get it out in the next level. So what do we need to put up front on that website? Right up front over there. We need to put some thought leadership. And why do we need to put that thought leadership there? We need to put it there because ultimately, when the customer reads that, he gets 5 ideas that he can take back to his board, his peers, his next speaking opportunity. That's what he wants. And if we are able to make him successful in that entire process, then when he really has a problem or when he wants to buy a solution, he will come back to us and say, hey, you guys gave me those 5 ideas. I think I'm willing to sit and engage with you because I think you know what you're doing. I think you brought that thought leadership into the picture. And I want to kind of sit with you and talk to you because I think you know how to solve my problem. So the mission for us should be, as marketers, not to bombard the customer with the offering, but to give him that leadership and tell him, in your business, in your situation, in your circumstances, this is what will make you better. This is what will make your product, your own company better. And once we put the customer at the center of the whole thing, then everything else kind of goes on from there.